able to, through cross-pollination, through our breeding program in our nurseries, the breeders have been able to decouple what was once considered hard to do. And let's see, the best way to probably say this, varieties are categorized in fall dormancies.
Okay.
And so the fall dormancies that do better in our varieties, or excuse me, in our area, the fall dormancies that do best in our area are 3s, 4s, and 5s. And there didn't used to be fall dormancy ratings. You just had an alfalfa variety, and that's what you had.
Okay.
And so we've been able to decouple fall dormancies and winter hardiness in these varieties now through selective breeding in our greenhouses. And that's been going on for several years, but it gets better and better each generation of alfalfa seed.
So you're strengthening the DNA of the alfalfa for our area specifically, depending on the dormancy ratings.
Correct.
And our area, let's talk about it in an elevation capacity, because I know that there are alfalfa fields in the middle of the White Rocks Range over in Nevada to Kanab, and across like kind of that strip that, that, I don't know, 200 or 300 mile strip. What elevations are your Forge Genetics products targeting specifically for our alfalfa?
So for areas like Panguitch, Alton, higher areas, Long Valley, those type areas, you're looking for a 3 to 4 fall dormancy. And then we can go clear down to Bunkerville where they're planting 8s and 9s. So there's a range of 3 to 11 on the fall dormancy rating.
And that means that it's dormant longer or shorter?
Shorter.
So the higher the rating, the shorter the dormancy.
Correct.
So we want
it wakes up earlier and goes to bed later in the fall.
Okay.
Wakes up earlier in the spring, goes to bed.
Now, how does that play into the role of the protein content within the alfalfa? Or is that really like the growth in the soil type of?
That has more to do with the climate in which it's grown.
Okay.
So, and
much like children, I would say, Dr. T.
So winter hardiness is rated on a scale also of like 1.1 to about a 2.5 is the highest on that. And that means the survivability of that variety through a harsh winter. And so if you can get a higher fall dormancy, so we have a 5, which is fairly high fall dormancy, but it also has a low winter hardiness, which it is able to survive the harsh winters that sometimes we find in this area.
I was going to say this last winter was not very productive, I would say.
I want to be the variety that goes to bed early and gets up late. What number would I be in that case?
If you're going to bed early, you're probably a 3 or a 4.
And getting up late?
Yeah, probably a 3 or a 4.
Can I become a 1 with that? Is that possible?
We don't have those in our portfolio as of yet.
As of yet. So they're still developing. They're working on their genetics through their nursery and through their, I believe it's called breeding, through the nursery breeding, and strategizing with those different strains. You're becoming, I would say you're the number 1 or number 2 company, that's
we're the leader in Forge Genetics.
In trying to get, the genetics right and breeding for the alfalfa crop, because we're one of the only areas, in the world, as we've talked about in previous shows, that can grow the quality of hay with the volume of hay that we have. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, we have a very unique area and we're able to grow high quality alfalfa.
So what does alfalfa love? Like, give me the best dirt.
So I need to get the, hang on a second.
What? The best, oh no, I'm gonna have to put the headphones on.
You are.
So as far as the soils, a pH is of 6.5 to about a 7.2 is ideal.
I can't believe it. Did we lose that song?
Which song are we?
Yeah, never mind.
So we're on the high end on the pH, but we can fertilize and we can do things to help that out.
And through applications through IFA and Tony Carlisle, you can get those things.
So when you asked what is that?
Okay,
I immediately went to this here.
Oh my. Oh my. Well, let's go back to the 80s. Or was that written in the 70s?
Yeah, that's.
Oh my. So where, the different applications, the different seed mixtures, where is our prime location? What do our producers need to know today to get there? I mean, granted, we're a little bit late to plant new seed unless
No,
it's a brand
no,
new
we're
field.
not.
We're prime.
Just getting started in planting the alfalfa.
Okay, so there's
we
still
we wanna
time.
make sure we plant after the last killing frost. So the
Okay.
seedlings are very susceptible to hard freeze.
Okay.
And so guys are just getting going and planting right now. And so I would encourage growers to look at it right now and plan accordingly, plan in advance, because with the freight situations and the things that are going on in the freight industry right now.
Like what, that it piqued my interest. What's the problem there?
There's some serious delays in freight right now. Shipments are being delayed. I've had shipments that have been ordered and been delayed in going out. We'll have on a broker board, we'll have shipments ready to go. Guys will call in and say, yeah, I'm going to take that load, and then they'll call back and reject it because they found a more lucrative load to haul.
Really?
And so, it's kind of a quandary right now. I had a shipment just this last week that sat in the warehouse in Phoenix for 4 days.
Wow.
Product left our warehouse, arrived in Phoenix, and sat there for 4 days for its last 50 miles of its transit. And so I would encourage guys to make those decisions if you're considering planning to get ready to have your seed in the barn and get it ready to go.
So if unless I'm misreading things here, do alfalfa growers, do they plant every year, or do they have some other things?
It's about a 4 to 5 year rotation in
Okay.
the field. So they'll take 20 to 25% of their farm and rotate it every year.
Okay.
So what is a good rotational crop? Is it the whole year that they're doing that crop? Like where at in the process? Like, so let's say I'm in year 5 of this one field and I need a rotational crop. What am I looking for? Am I looking for what else grows well in our area enough to make up for the offset of the alfalfa? Is it the feed corn? Is it sorghum? I know that's been being grown in the area.
That's a good question. There's several opportunities, like you mentioned, corn, sorghum Sudans, 3-way blends, or oats. But I would recommend that a grower have their field out for a minimum of 6 months. So if you're going to rotate out, say this year, hopefully guys would have plowed out their alfalfa stand last fall, planted a 3-way going into the fall, and then they'll harvest that in mid-May or from end of May to mid-June. And then they have the opportunity to go into a Sorghum Sudan.
Okay.
We also sell Sorghum Sudans, and Sorghum Sudan is a hybrid of sorghum and then Sudan grass. And they cross-pollinate those plants, and then you're able to have the hybrid vigor of both of those plants. The advantages of Sorghum Sudan is it's a low water consumer. It's a high stress. It tolerates high stress.
Like high winds. We don't get high winds around here, do we?
it tolerates heat. It tolerates drought, and it'll consume about 30% less water than corn to make that crop.
And what things eat sorghum Sudan?
It's a great forage for all livestock.
Okay, is the protein content at the same levels as we need it for alfalfa, or
No,
is it?
it's not.
It is truly a rest crop.
Yeah, it's a lower protein content than alfalfa, but it's a great forage for animals.
Any type of animals,
Yeah.
from horses to pigs and cows and all the in betweens.
Some people will be very cautious to feed it to horses, but if you grow it correctly, it'll be safe.
Fair enough. So tell me a little bit more about that. Why?
Historically, some sorghums have had high nitrate concentrates, and horses can't tolerate that.
Good to know.
So,
We'll
and
put a pin in that one.
it's kind of a tricky crop to grow, but it'll yield extremely high, and you can work within the confines of that crop.
Is it a better cash crop than alfalfa, or about the same?
It'll yield high, but the value of it isn't quite. It'll yield tons, but the value of those tons are not as high as alfalfa.
But it's still a good rest crop because and especially going from the winter we've had, right? With lack of snowpack, it's going to be dry. We know it's already dry. We've already had, I believe, and the fire, crew can correct me, but I think we've already had a few, at least over 15, fire
We've had
things,
over 100 wildfires.
100 wildfires over this year.
We may have a call here. I'm not sure if it's that or someone already for radio, so
Yeah, we can,
you'll need to step on the head.
Oh, yes, yes. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Here with MJ on here on Wired Wednesday. Okay, then we need to have you. Then we need to actually have you hold off and call us another time when we're not in this broadcast. Thanks for the call. We'll get back to you later. All right.
No worries.
Okay.
We appreciate the calls. And if anybody does have questions, please feel free to call into the show. The show's number is 435-586-5900. And you can call us, and ask the questions with any of our interviews that we have on the air, because really, again, this program, I host the program, it's Wired Wednesday with McKenna Hansen, but we try to educate the community, on whatever's going on out there. And with Ken Robinson and Forge Genetics, we're talking about alfalfa seed and where it's going, really, what they've been developing and why it's competitive, and what we've gone into the different drought tolerance and protein tolerance and fall and the seasonality of different seeds. And now we're just going into rest crops for your rotational years, and we're talking about sorghum.
Right. So sorghum Sudan's, you need to be
What about
careful.
hops? Do we do hops in this area?
I don't think we have enough water, and I
Those
don't.
alternative beverages that we partake of.
I wouldn't make that connection.
We don't
Purely
have a climate
incidental.
for hops.
Barley?
Yes.
We could do barley?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And one of the three in the three-way grain forage that a lot of guys will plant is barley.
Okay.
So.
There was
So
a lot
you're
of
saying
barley.
there's hope for a good homegrown, homemade. I mean, wait, hold on,
Yeah.
different topic.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the sorghum and why, with the weather and the tolerance that we've had so far, and we're running a little short on time. Sorry, I'm talking too much, but
Sorry.
the season that we're going into, why this is one of the better crops.
Okay. So if you're looking to plant the sorghum Sudans, you need to wait just a little while longer until the soil temperatures are 60 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's because they do not tolerate cold. They're a one season deal. Their natural habitat, I guess you could say, is down south. The nurseries are in Texas and areas further south. So they do not tolerate the cold.
This time of year, what is our typical soil temperature at 7 o'clock? I'm gonna guess it's not 60 degrees.
No, our temperatures right now are probably, I would dare say, in the mid 40s.
Yeah, it's still chilly.
Yeah.
To
it's
some of our
gonna
listeners,
take
the
it.
AM station is not broadcasting.
Oh. That's interesting.
So we'll continue recording, or doing whatever.
We're still on the FM, I hope. I will find that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on the FM.
Okay, we're still on the FM. So with it having a higher tolerance, so in our
It has
area,
a high tolerance for drought and heat.
yes,
not
but
for
it needs
cold.
to be planted when it's hot.
Correct.
So we need to really wait until after the Mother's Day storm to plant sorghum Sudan.
That's a
Okay.
good date to look forward to.
Is that like now the standard thing? We just
Yeah.
get the blizzard on Mother's
Yeah,
Day.
that's
and
a
then
good- That's a good
Well,
date to look.
it's done it 5 years in a row. It's starting to become normal. So,
you're right. It does.
a day at a time. Well, in our last few minutes, how do people get a hold of you? When do they need to get a hold of you? And when do they need to start ordering seed?
I would suggest people start looking at their seed needs right now. Start making those plans. You can contact me if you'd like at 435-691-5014, or you can contact any of the members of the Intermountain Farmers Agronomy, and they'd be able to take care of you there.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
Have a great year and get after it.
We're excited to go into the growing season of 2021. May it yield and produce better than last year, given the conditions that we have. It's going to be, I think, a little bit rougher of a ride than we had in 2020, at least on the production standpoint, with the different weathers and things. But our hearts go out to those producers that keep doing it even when the going gets tough. This has been McKenna Hansen with Farm Bureau Financial Services, your local Farm Bureau financial agent. My office is located just behind Mountain America on North Main. And you can reach me always at 435-592-2021. Thank you for listening. This has been McKinnon Hansen.
All right, thanks, MJ. And let's get one last check of what might be happening on